Hi everyone, Lisa here for Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for joining me. Lots of exciting things happening here on the Whimsy channel today. Meet the Team video. Be sure you check that out and the new mini release. So I'm so excited to share this new stencil that's being released called Honey Drips. I fell in love with this stencil. But first, let me show you the new Hello Bear stamp set. Super cute. These little guys are just adorable. And the Leaves red rubber background stamp, it's amazing. Now there's the stencil that I'm in love with. And you're going to see the new Busy Bee paper pad. I was going to share two cards in the video, but decided that the card I created with that Busy Bee paper pad needed its own video. So keep an eye out for that coming soon. Here I have the Sweet Succulent stamp set that I'm going to give you a quick peek at. Now, if you want to see it in action, you can hop over to my channel to check that out, and that's going to be linked below. So I'm stamping the images onto 80-pound smooth cardstock using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to stamp 2 sheets of this. We're going to run these through the scan and cut before I color them. And whatever I don't use today, I'll just store in my stamp pocket for later use. Okay, next up, I'm stamping that background with the Leaves background stamp. This is such a pretty background. I'm using Memento Bamboo Leaves ink to go ahead and stamp that on 80-pound cardstock. I'm going to grab a blender brush next so I can apply a little bit of blue to this. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I'm going to be very light with what I do add. This is Memento Summer Sky ink, but any light blue ink you have will work. Any green ink you have to stamp the leaves, that'll work. Use whatever ink you have on hand. So we're going to go ahead. We have a Gatefold card base here. The gates are 2 1/8 of an inch wide, and the card is 5.5 inches tall. So I trimmed the stamped background to 2 panels that measure 2 inches by 5 3/8 of an inch each. I'm using my tape runner to add adhesive to the back of the panels and then center those up on the gates. Now I went ahead and I did die cut a hexagon from the Nesting Hexagon die set, and I'm going to use this to anchor my images. So I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch cardstock laid out here. It's just 80-pound cardstock. I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending with this amazing stencil. I'm using Memento inks in Peanut Brittle and Cantaloupe. I just did light blending here, building some colors, these 2 colors together to create that honeycomb. So I flipped the stencil over and we're going to go ahead and start adding ink. Now, what I want to do is to make it look like this ink is dripping down off of that honeycomb. And I'm taking my brush, I'm pushing it down, forward, and then lifting it up. And what that's going to help me do is blend this ink up into the honeycomb without completely covering it. It's really kind of neat. So we're going to shift this stencil, and then we're going to go ahead and do another layer of ink with our cantaloupe. And I'm creating layers here because I want this to have some dimension to it. I don't want it to look flat. So you can see here how it's starting to come together. So I'm going to shift the stencil one more time, and I'm just going to use the ink that's left on the brush and go ahead and apply that. I'm going to pick up some of that ink off of my mat as well and use it too. So I really wanted you guys to see this whole process here. Out of everything that I'm doing in the video, I feel like this is the one thing I really wanted to share with you guys. I love this stencil. Did I mention that? So I'm going to shift the stencil one more time, apply another light layer of ink to create another layer. And once we're done with this, I'm going to just set the stencil to the side, and then down at the bottom, it's going to be very white because there's no ink there. You can leave it that way if you want. What I did was I just came in with the ink left on my brush and did a very light application of ink. I mean, I'm hardly touching the paper at all. So let's go ahead and cut these to 2 inches by 5 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to use these on the inside of our card. So we're using some adhesive from the tape runner, adding that to the back, and then go ahead and add these to our gates on the inside. So now that our card base is ready, we're going to go ahead and color our images. Simple coloring here. I'm going to start with the beehive Y17. Then I'm going to follow that with my Y15, lightly blending those colors together. I'm going to leave a little bit of white space in the center of each section of the beehive. I'm coloring the branch with E35 and E33. Now I'm going to move on after that to the adorable bear. He is so cute. I'm starting with E35, mapping out my darkest areas, and then I'm going to follow that with E33, blending that E35 out a little bit. And then I'm going to come in and fill in the bear with E31. I'm going to go ahead and start working my way back through those colors because I lay down light layers of ink so that I can continue to come in and build the colors, adding more shading where I need it, all that fun stuff. So N8 is going to give me some really dark shading. And it's one of the things that I really enjoy doing is coming in with a really dark color to add more shading. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'll come back in with the rest of the colors one final time to blend everything out and try to get the smoothest blend I could possibly get. R01 to his little ear, N8 to his nose, and then I decided B000 to just go around that hive and follow those buzzing lines around. So we're going to start to assemble the card now. I'm using liquid adhesive to add the hexagon to the right of the card, and foam adhesive circles to the back of the bear and that beehive. Now be mindful of where you place these on the beehive so you don't accidentally tape the card closed. Ask me how I know. So I'm stamping the sentiment Hello Sweetness on the hexagon using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Now I recommend you stamp the sentiment on the hexagon before placing everything on it. But hey, if you're a fly by the seat of your pants gal, go for it and welcome to the club. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp another sentiment on the inside of the card. And then to finish it off, I'm adding a small Velcro dot to the left side of the back of that hexagon. I'm adding 3 sequins around the beehive, and that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Okay, so let me know what you think about that Honey Drips stencil in the comments below. I can't wait to use that stencil for goo come Halloween. Or how about dripping icing around the holidays? Oh, that would be so neat. So let me know what you would use the stencil for. Also, don't forget to hop over to my YouTube channel to check out that sweet succulent stamp set with me. I really appreciate you joining me. I hope you'll click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of new content to the channel. Please feel free to share this video with your crafty friend. Now, for more information on the products used, head over to the Whimsy Stamps website, and I hope you have an amazing day.